Peace and honor. This is Kashia with Honest Doula with the Honest Doula podcast. And today I will be talking about before the baby, preparing the body for conception. Come on in. Peace again, this is Kashia with Honest Doula podcast, and before I begin, I would like to say I am in no way giving medical advice, and if you need immediate care, please contact your midwife or your health care provider, okay? So today I will be talking about before the baby comes, before you're pregnant, before you even conceive, what should your body be doing? What should you be doing with your body beforehand? And that is making sure that your body is a receiving vessel and at its epitome of health, so that when you do begin the process of conceiving, that it will be successful and that there are no hindrance at all within that process. So before I get into some of the research and some of the findings, I would first like to say that the first thing that you do when trying to, when thinking about conceiving, is first visit your OBGYN or your primary physician so that you can get an overall checkup and inspection of your body to make sure that there aren't any pre-existing conditions that you need to be mindful of, to make sure that everything within your reproductive system is working functionally and that there are not any blockages or things that are preventing actual implementation during pregnancy. Now, if those things do arise, your physician will then give you proper techniques that you can abide by to dwindle those symptoms so that you can have a successful pregnancy. Now, there are some natural remedies for curing things such as polyps, cysts, fibroids, and things of that nature. So those are other options as well if you do not prefer the actual physician recommendation. But again, that is your choice, and those options are out there and available, okay? So beginning with your body and how it should be properly taken care of beforehand. Your diet is one of the most important aspects of preparing your body. A lot of times we think it's time to eat right or be well when you're pregnant, when that's not the case at all. When you plan your children out, you have the ability to have a set goal with your body. For example, you have to begin to take a really good assessment of what it is that you're eating. Are you eating M&Ms every day? Are you eating processed foods every day? Are you eating just all around junk? If you find yourself often saying, I got to do better, I need to do better with my diet, then chances are your body is not at its epitome to receive and to house a baby, okay? So this is the time where you take an assessment of your diet, of what it is that you need to eat and what you need to take away, what you need to adjust, basically. All right. So I'm going to get into some of the basic necessities that you should be considering when you're preparing your body, the fertility phase and the preconception phase is what it's called. So some of the things, fertility friendly things you should be focusing on are calcium. Now, calcium is good for your bones naturally, but it's also good for when you begin to think about the stages of conception. You'll have that extra dietary in your body to help develop your bones and the baby's bones, and that additional magnesium, because when your body becomes pregnant, when that conception does happen, all of your energy and your minerals and the things that you have in your body begin to go toward your baby. So it's always good to have an additional amount, not a surplus, because anything, too much of anything can be bad, but it's good to have an additional amount of calcium. And you can find this in leafy greens, nuts, and seeds, and dairy products if you include dairy in your product, okay? And also be mindful of those dairy products. Make sure that they are the best version of themselves and the least processed as possible, because again, processed food can hinder the body in trying to conceive and its fertility ability, okay? Another thing to consider is protein. Now, protein can come from animals and or leafy greens. Now, research shows that swapping out even one serving of animal protein for plant protein can help boost fertility, because again, animals, even if it's lean, these are not of you. You're ingesting their body, their I don't want to say diseases, but their shortcomings, I would say. Even if it's a lean, you should be mindful, because it could hinder and block attempts of getting pregnant. So again, for animal protein, you have things like meat, poultry, and fish. And for plants, you have legumes, nuts, and seeds. Also, veggies such as pilafs and chili and beans and things of that nature. So you can make like a quinoa medley, vegetable medley, and it has that protein and also has that calcium, and it also has that magnesium that the calcium has, that is good for your bones and your structure to make sure that you're maintaining a great stature. Now, another important mineral to have within your body is iron. Each month, ladies, when you have your menses, you're depleting your source of iron, especially if you have a heavy flow. So pumping up on your iron intentionally can assist with replenishing what is depleted before it's needed in pregnancy. You want to always make sure that you have a balanced level of iron. Now, I know a lot of women, especially Black women, suffer from anemia. So if you have any supplements or medication that your doctors give you for that, that is still necessary and important to take. And it's also important to confide that into your OBGYN when trying to conceive, to make sure that you are having an adequate amount of iron within that. And also these prenatal vitamins that you take are also good to take prenatal, before you're pregnant, before conception, because it gives you all of those vitamins and minerals that you need when the baby is here. So it'll give you, before the baby even gets there, the act of restoring your body of depleted or lost minerals. Another thing to be mindful of are carbs. Now, complex carbs are the good kind of carbs. These are the whole grains, the beans, the legumes, the vegetables. Researchers have found that women who eat more complex carbs have a higher fertility rate than those who have a diet that consists of the easily digested carbs such as soda, candy, sweets, white bread, all of those things those starchy foods that really stick to you and give you that gut, give you that chin, give you those extra love handles, makes you feel a little cushiony, okay? Also, these simple carbs lead to an increase of blood sugar and insulin, and too much insulin in your body can disrupt the delicate balance of the reproductive hormones that can essentially throw off your menstrual cycle, that can also make conception very elusive, because without that menstrual cycle you cannot track the ovulation period, and without that ovulation period it's really difficult to figure out when you are hot and ready for conception, okay? So coming back from this musical break, I will talk about some foods that you should avoid and foods that you should embrace. And I also will talk about some herbs that are suggested that you can incorporate in this fertility preconception time.
My Pisces lover, abstract and wild. Watercolor out the line since childhood, you're wild good. Had a rough start, grew up in a wild hood. Connection was quite good, met you in a shy hood. 2 days, find the bond so strong. Scared the bond won't hold if I take too long. With all my time consumed with trips and song, how long can we be in vogue and hold on? Your love with me to weather the storm. Your emails like the Gore-Tex to keep me warm. Sometimes the world's a vortex that keeps me gone. Distance like the lighthouse that keeps me warm. Most of them abandoned ship, but you play on. Lovers rock so still, love boat float on. As our worlds turn around, just keep on knowing. Lovers rock so still, love boat float on. My Pisces lover, love boat divine was so sublime, but can't align space and time.
Welcome back to the Honest Doula Podcast. This is Kashia with Honest Doula Podcast, and I have been discussing some of the things that we should take caution and be mindful of when thinking about baby, when trying to conceive, when trying to increase our fertility rate. Now, leaving off some foods that you should add on into your diet to increase fertility and overall reproductive health and health in the feminine woman body. So yams contain a substance that's similar to progesterone, that stimulates ovulation. This is the same with berries and oysters. You know, you always hear that oysters are aphrodisiac, but they also they produce and release hormones that increase fertility, that awaken the body, that reminds the body, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing and this is what I need to be doing. Same with berries. Berries produce antioxidants, and you know, they kill bacteria and add on those needed vitamins A, B, C, and D. Also, they give you the iron and calcium that you need. Foods that we should avoid, things that contain mercury, which is oftentimes in fish. So you would hear they suggest that pregnant women not consume fish, if so, not in a big amount because of that mercury, or just be mindful of where it is that you harvest those fish and basically how much you consume. Also, too much of the wrong fats. Too much of the wrong fats can cause blockages and clogs, and it could really hinder your body in producing the needed estrogen and progesterone that will increase your fertility and remind your body of what it's supposed to do in natural flow of menstruation and ovulation. Same with too much sugar, and produces that insulin, and too many refined grain and soy. Okay? If you are going to indulge in meat, think of some lean meats such as lamb. Lamb is a very lean meat. Oftentimes when we think of meat, we think of chicken or fish or beef, but there's also lamb, because lamb is a dense, good quality protein meat with a useful vitamin B profile. Consumed in moderation, it can be helpful to the body in making the structures and the cells needed for fertility. Lamb also provides 9 of the 9 amino acids, the protein building blocks necessary for healthy sperm, womb lining, and cell replication. As well, again, that vitamin B needed to make those new proteins for you and the baby to come. Okay, a good quality protein that also contains the vitamin B, promoting a healthy uterus, sperm, and efficient cell division. So this is why lamb is a great idea and a good choice for protein. You know, also something to consider is sun-dried tomatoes. This is a soluble fat, which means that they protect fatty areas of the body. That includes the reproductive organs, the eggs, and the sperm. So also the things that you cook with in your home, that you would eat for yourself, your mates could eat these things as well to encourage healthy sperm flow and healthy connection of the sperm and that egg. Also, sun-dried tomatoes contain lycopene. Lycopene is particularly important for ensuring good levels of healthy active sperm. So sun-dried tomato is really good for the men. It is great for the women as well, because when 1 and 2 come together, they create this understanding of that child. So when you eat these things and your mate eats these things, it creates the right balance of sodium and potassium to ensure the removal of toxins that can affect fertility. So again, women, when we cook, we are literally cooking and providing life, whether it is in ourselves, our mates, and in the children that we have yet to conceive. So it's very important when we think of children that they are planned as much as we can plan for them, in the state of that we are preparing our bodies for them to come. You know, our body is that temple. Our body is our child's first home. So we want to give it a nice, comfortable, and warmth place to be. Another good food to eat is quinoa. I love quinoa. Quinoa provides all the essential amino acids needed to make proteins, which are crucial for reproduction. It is rich in vitamin D. It contains the omega-6 fatty acids and that vitamin B to support sex hormone levels for both men and women. Also, the omega-6 fatty acid is what is found in salmon and in meat, so you can have that extra protein in there as well. Quinoa also has that folic and zinc combined to enable the new cell production needed for conception. So if you think and research those things needed when you're pregnant, they tell you to make sure you're up on those folic acids and those amino acids and those omega-6 fatty acids. If you take heed before pregnancy, in the preconception fertility phase, during these times during your pregnancy, you may see that you have less complications because you took the needed actions and steps beforehand. Pears, like apples, contain good amounts of soluble fiber, known to help protect the body from environmental toxins that may affect fertility. A lot of times we don't think about our outside reality and what we encounter that could affect our fertility, such as air or our water, which is another thing. Make sure that your water is at a good pH level, because the water that we drink can affect our fertility because of the minerals and additive things that they have within. So pears, again, they have that soluble fiber, pectin, which removes the toxins that may reduce the chances of conception. Pectin and the insoluble fiber help regulate bowel functions to further the detoxification. So you really want your body to be the most clean vessel that it can possibly be. So detoxing the body naturally and healthy through the foods that we eat, the water that we drink, can really assist in fertility and conception. Pectin feeds healthy bacteria for the correct female hormone balance needed for fertility. That is pears. So pears are a great thing to incorporate within your diet when trying to conceive. Same with apricots, collards, kale, spinach, oatmeal, green tea. The antioxidant compound within green tea called EGCG, that's the abbreviation. It's very hard to pronounce, but it's found in green tea. It is able to move inside cells and protect the DNA from being damaged. So drinking green tea can safeguard that DNA aspect so that your child has the best sharp DNA coming forth. Green tea is high in antioxidants such as EGCG, which protects DNA. These compounds may help for fertilization of the egg to occur and embryos to grow. A healthy low caffeine source that helps wean prospective mothers off of tea and coffee in preparation for pregnancy. So if you have that caffeine need, green tea can help usher in that getting off of that dependency. Okay, so after this final musical break, I will come back with some suggested herbs that you can use to promote healthy fertility and conception. Stay woke. Welcome back to the Honest Doula podcast. I'm Kashia, and I was talking about foods to add into your diet and to take away into your diet, and things to be mindful of when trying to conceive and promoting healthy fertility within your body. So, some herbs. Now, when using herbs, I suggest you use herbs at your own caution, and make sure that you are listening to your physician and or midwife, and that you know the ingredients that work with your body and work well with your body. So I'm going to start off with herbs that you should not be consuming while you are pregnant or trying to conceive. Herbs such as red raspberry leaf, southernwood, wormwood, mugwort, barberry, tansy, mandrake, juniper, pennyroyal, nutmeg, arbor vitae, and senna. Taking some of these herbs too soon before conception or too soon within your pregnancy can promote a detachment of the placenta from the uterine wall, and you do not want this to happen. You want to consume herbs that promote a strong uterine wall to allow the baby to be able to grow and rest and nestle there. Okay, so please be advised against those herbs. Herbs to consider consuming and their purpose are black cohosh, which helps establish regular ovulation, Siberian ginseng and dongquai to help regulate menstrual cycle, and they promote hormonal deficiency within the female body. Chaste tree berry or vitex stimulates and releases a hormone that regulates the level of progesterone and estrogen. Also, red clover blossom, it is enriched in estrogen, and it might be helpful for regulating the hormones. And also fish oils to boost your fertility and your mood. Again, be mindful of the herbal teas and the things that you ingest. Please look at the packagings and making sure that you are not consuming the herbs mentioned that could be harmful for your body and that could counteract everything that you are trying to do in your attempts of proper fertility and conception. Okay? So again, those herbs to avoid are raspberry leaf, southernwood, wormwood, mugwort, barberry, tansy, mandrake root, juniper, pennyroyal, nutmeg, arbor vitae, and senna. Okay, so please make sure that you are consulting with your physician and your midwife about specific herbs before you take them, and make sure if you're buying tea blends that you see all of the written ingredients and you ask the questions of those written ingredients. Okay, so I will that this episode has been beneficial and effective for you, because pregnancy begins before you're actually pregnant. That pregnancy journey begins with the first thought, that planning of, hey, let's conceive a child. What does that look like? And it also includes your mate, your diets. What are you consuming? So remember to cook life. Make sure that you are using and incorporating vitamin, iron, calcium enriched foods that promote ovulation, hormones, healthy reproduction, cell growth, things of that nature, so that you are giving your child the best chance that they have in this earth side, beginning with your healthy body choices. Again, this is Kashia with Honest Doula Podcast. Be well on this day. Stay woke.